Alright, hello there, welcome to another way been different video. Today's video, we're going back into fantasy football rankings. I've been doing this since week 1, and I've done every week since. Now we're on week 6. How are you guys doing in your fantasy leagues? Hopefully great, hopefully not bad. Hopefully these videos haven't given you any bad advice, which is very unlikely because I am bound to get some stuff wrong. I'd like to think that I'm doing good, but in all honesty, if I'm being perfectly blunt, I haven't gone back and watched the videos and said, yeah, that was a good one. What I can tell you is last week, I'm pretty sure I said start Rhamondre Stevenson, which might have been super obvious, but I was like, yeah, I would definitely start him. Now, I probably got one really wrong. I just don't remember it because I only want to remember the good stuff. What can I say? But anyway, if you're new to this channel, if you're new to these kind of videos, how it works is the running backs ranked. So it's running backs and receivers, as you can see in the title of the video. The running backs and receivers ranked in the top 20, you're going to start. Unless you have a God squad, you're going to start them. So I'm not going to worry about the top 20 until the very end of the video, and we'll get to that later. But anyway, from 21 to 50 on both running backs and receivers, I say start or sit. And as we go down the list, obviously players get way less startable, especially on running backs. But I will provide an analysis on those who I think are deserving or who should get it, or who I want to give it to, I guess. But yeah, I will do 21 through 50 for both running backs and receivers. And in the very end, which is the later where I say I'm getting into now, we will name our 3 favorite players from 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, 31 through 40, and 41 through 50. That way, for all you daily fantasy players, or just for you players who want to hear your best players named, I will say, again, my 3 favorite players from that 1 through 10, and then et cetera spots for both running backs and receivers. But without further ado, after all that long explanation, let's roll. So, jumping all the way down to 21, we got Raheem Mostert. Honestly, I am not really all that high on him. I know that last week he had a pretty solid week, but that's also because they had to run the ball because their passing attack was just really not there. Do I expect that to continue against Minnesota? I think he'll be a decent flex start, but I don't think he'll eclipse anything more than 20. And the downside is pretty, I would say it's pretty steep, meaning he can drop like 1 or 2 points. So do I think he's an okay start? Maybe. If I had the opportunity, I would bench him. Personally, I'd rather start Najee than him. But even then, Najee's hot garbage this season. Not because of him, but anyway, moving to Najee. Starter, bench. I honestly would rather bench. If you have the luxury, you don't because you drafted him in the first round or maybe early second. You do not have the luxury of benching Najee Harris. And I don't think anyone, aside from a very select few, could have predicted this from Najee Harris this season. And it's not all his fault. His team just or his offense just blatantly sucks. Defense isn't performing well either. Since TJ Watt has been gone, it's like everything has fallen apart. So yeah, especially against Tampa D, if you can to Najee Harris, I personally would. Thinking back on it, honestly, Raheem Mostert might be a better start now that I'm really thinking about it. Kareem Hunt against New England. I don't think it's a bad start, but Kareem Hunt is one of those players that like he either does pretty solid or he does jack crap. Like there's not really a big gray area for him. It feels like it's either all or nothing. Against New England, I would prefer to bench. James Robinson last 2 weeks has been posting mediocre stat lines. I think that as soon as Jaguars start to get it back on track, which they should, I'm not saying they're a great team or a good team, but their offense is good enough to where they should be doing better than what they are. James Robinson, I would say he's a decent flex play. Nothing more than that, to be honest with you. Ezekiel Elliott against Philly, I would bench. No questions asked, I would bench. 100%. Philly has been really good defensively, and Cowboys, as much as Cooper Rush is winning for them, he's not making that offense anything crazy at all. Let's see. Devin Singletary against KC, high scoring game. Yes, start him. You want to get any piece of action that you can from that kind of game. Travis Etienne Jr. against the Indiana Colts. He's not a bad flex play. His snap usage has been running up. Doug Peterson seems to like the ball in his hands, and I can't blame him. He looks explosive. A.J. Dillon against the Jets. Honestly, the Packers in general have just been kind of gross. Not a team that's really pleasing to watch at all. Defense has been okay, like relatively solid, I should say. But yeah, I would try to bench A.J. Dillon. Cam Akers, I would try and bench him as well. Tony Pollard, I think he's a okay flex, but if you're benching Zeke, it's because you're benching Pollard as well. So I'm gonna say bench. Brian Robinson Jr. is a sneaky start, I think, but you shouldn't expect anything at all if you do start him because, well, the Commanders kind of suck, and Carson Wentz is not good, as proven time and time again. Mike, I want to say it's Bone, maybe it's Boone. Mike Bone, I would bench. Denver sucks. Tyler Algier, I would say bench against San Fran. I'm good. I don't even then Atlanta, unless you had Cordell Patterson or even Drake London, he's pretty solid too. That's it. Because Kyle Pitts has also been very irrelevant, unfortunately. Michael Carter, I am gonna bench. I don't really want a piece of action from that game. Darrell Henderson bench. Rashad White bench. See, this is the part where I say all these running backs are just so bench worthy. Like, if you have to start some of these players, your team must be a little bit down bad. And we've all been there before, but I mean, really just look at it. Like, what are any of these names really gonna get you? Like, Kenneth Gainwell might get you a touchdown if he vultures one, and it's possible. But like, no, dude. I mean, DJ Dallas, maybe you're thinking about starting him. I would wait to see how that backfield plays out, but it's probably gonna be Kenneth Walker time. Deion Jackson's probably only here because maybe Taylor doesn't play, but he should. Yeah, honestly, all these running backs you just cannot start at all. And that's the thing about running backs is after the good ones, it's just it goes all downhill from there. But anyway, let's pick our favorite 3 from the top 10, which is going to be let's see. Okay, so we're going to say Saquon versus Baltimore. You know what? No, scratch that. We're going to do Austin Eckler versus Denver. Then we're going to do yeah, we're just going to do the top 3. I mean, I want to say Jonathan Taylor. I really do. But the Colts offense has been really bad, and they have not been performing. I want to say Christian McCaffrey, especially since Baker's out, and honestly, that might help him. But the Carolina Panthers just suck. Period. I don't know. I'm just gonna stick to the top 3 being the top 3. If you wanted me to say a hot take, maybe you could say Ramondre Stevenson. But yeah, no, dude, I'm totally good. 11 through 20, I will say. I'm gonna say, honestly, call me crazy, I'm gonna say Breece Hall. I would also say Jeff Wilson Jr. and probably David Montgomery. All these are kind of sketchy though, not gonna lie. Just in terms of saying they're favorite worthy. Like, I'm absolutely confident. 21 through 30, we're gonna say Travis Etienne. Jeez, man, running backs are so sketchy. Devin Singletary, actually, for sure. Travis Etienne. And let's say James Robinson, because one of the two will definitely do good, right? Hopefully, maybe. 31 through 40, Brian Robinson Jr. I wanted to say Michael Carter, but honestly, I don't think so. I think Breece Hall is just looking insanely good right now. Honestly, I'm gonna leave it at 1, just Brian Robinson, because all these other or maybe Tyler Algier, Algier, whatever how to pronounce his name, maybe him. If you had to pick one. And then 41 through 15, none. Please none. And if you have to stream someone, DJ Dallas maybe, but please for the love of God, do not do that to yourself. Please don't. And now we get to the juicier stuff, which is receivers, because receivers are way more relevant the longer you go. Maybe I should change running backs to 1 through 40 instead of 50, because oh my gosh, it's disgusting. But moving down to 21, Terry McLaurin against Chicago, bench. I'm taking the under that game, dude. I don't want any piece of action. Deontay Johnson against Tampa, bench for sure. Oh, Steelers offense. Drake London against San Francisco. That's honestly an okay flex play, but I would lean towards bench. Devonta Smith. That's a good one. Devonta Smith. You know what? I think Cowboys defense has been too good. You know, I'm guessing the Eagles will win, but it'll be like 20-14, 20-17 kind of thing. Like, it's probably going to be more low scoring. So I'm going to say bench. T. Higgins, start. T. Higgins is always going to be a good start because of how talented he is, and talent alone will take him there. You just need the Bengals offense to really pick it up. But I don't think New Orleans defense is going to pose that much of a threat for them to really not get things going. Alan Lazard, I'm going to bench. I don't trust any Green Bay Packer at all. Even Aaron Jones is just sketchy. Aaron Rodgers has obviously been bad. Just not putting up good fantasy relevant numbers. Maybe in real life he's better, but in fantasy right now is not the answer. Curtis Samuel, bench. I just prefer not to have a piece of action on that game. Jacoby Myers, bench. I see them having a lot of ground and pound, which is why I like Stevenson. But through the air, I don't trust the receivers. Adam Thielen, I would say probably bench. I don't see that game being too high scoring. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is. But that's just where I'm at right now. Jerry Jeudy, bench. I don't trust the Denver Bronco. Brandon Ayuk. He's actually a decent flex play this week just because Atlanta's defense is really bad. So I would say start, but obviously it's Brandon Ayuk, so you don't know what's going to happen. Romeo Doubs, bench. I don't want to Green Bay Packer. Garrett Wilson, bench. Zach Wilson has not been the answer at all, and they've won, but it's not been because of him. DJ Moore. I mean, with Baker gone, maybe you could say start, and maybe you could flex him. Maybe, but that's kind of that. George Pickens, I actually think he's a decent flex play just because Kenny Pickett seems to really like George Pickens, and even when he came in, he's just throwing it his way, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for Pickens owners. Devin Duvernay, if Rashad Bateman's out, yes, you can definitely start him. Nothing more than a flex play. Juju, I want every piece of action I can get on that game. I would start Juju for sure. Rondale Moore, that could be a pretty high scoring game, so decent flex play, I would think. Darnell Mooney, bench. Tyler Boyd, bench. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. If you have nothing better to start and you're just looking for a streamer or someone just to throw in because you want a piece of action on a super high scoring game, that's a pretty decent start. Say what you want. It really is, just because, again, that game could be really high scoring. Alec Pierce, honestly, a decent flex play. Like, seriously. Like, I know I'm saying bench on some of these 20 guys, and yes, I'd still start them over these 40 guys for sure. But just for where they're ranked at, like, you could definitely sneak him in on a flex play. Elijah Moore, bench. Dude, I was so high on Elijah Moore before the season, and it's like, I hate when I'm wrong in anything, of course, but man, was I so wrong. He just hasn't done anything. He doesn't even have a touchdown this season, and that to me is mind-boggling because the guy is so talented. So I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's, the Jets offense as a whole that's holding him back. I don't know what it is, but I hope things turn around for him because I really think this guy has the it factor. It's just really not seeing the it factor right now, which is unfortunate. Michael Gallup, bench. You can't start him against Philly's D. You can't, especially since Cowboys offense isn't even like a good offense. Like Cooper Rush is winning these games, but it's not because of him. It's because of the Dallas defense. Corey Davis, bench. Zay Jones, bench, bench. All these are just benches. I mean, Allen Robinson, what are you doing, bro? Why you got 52, man? How is it possible to be this bad? Anyway, moving from 1 through 10, my favorite 3. Again, I said it last week. If I had to say Cooper Kupp's name every time, it'd just be stale. Cooper Kupp is always undoubtedly going to be the number 1 every week in and week out. So I will never say his name for that reason alone, unless there's a special occasion. So yes, Cooper Kupp's 1, but he won't be part of the 3 because he is just always, no matter what I say, gonna be the 1. I mean, look at this. On Yahoo, on PPR, he's projected for 27 points. Like, what kind of... He's projected for more than my quarterback, Russell Wilson. He's projected for more than Russell Wilson, bro. Are you kidding me? More than a freaking quarterback. More than a lot of quarterbacks, actually. More than Geno Smith he's projected for then. And I know Geno has been playing pretty well. So yeah, it's just been Cooper Kupp. Yes, 1 always. Anyway, top 3. We have to stay Stephon Diggs because in KC. Then we're gonna say Hollywood Brown at 9 is juicy against Seattle, and and then we're gonna go Debo against Atlanta. Atlanta's D is really bad. 11 through 20, we are gonna say Gabe Davis, 16 at KC. I want all the action I can get on that game. Tyler Lockett's a really, really solid start, 17. And then we will go with Cortland Sutton at Chargers. Chargers has been a middling defense. Nothing crazy, not bad, not good. But Cortland Sutton has been the lone bright spot in that Denver offense. The lone bright spot. 21 through 30. We're gonna go with Drake. Yeah, we're gonna go Drake London, T. Higgins, and oh man, and Adam Thielen. 31 through 40. We will go George Pickens, Brandon Ayuk, and hope that he turns things. No, let's play it safe. Let's go Juju. Again, I'm assuming high scoring game. Let's just say Juju. Let's play it safe. I was saying, okay, maybe DJ Moore in hopes that Baker's gone. So pray to thy fantasy football gods, but nah, dude, I can't. 41 through 50, Valdez Scantling. Valdez Scantling, Alec Pierce, and yeah, the rest of the names, just saying it. And Elijah Moore, I'd hope that he turns it around. But yeah, that's been fantasy football week 6 rankings for running backs and wide receivers. I've been doing it since week 1. I will probably do it until the very last week of fantasy football. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching as always. This has been Ollie Been Different on We've Been Different, and we out.